Hello everyone, in this video we're going to look at HTML5 semantic layout elements and how you would convert a current document into a more semantic layout. Let's get started. If you look at the current structure, you'll see that it's a normal structure. You get your document, your HTML and your body tags, and then within it you have your div tags and you have your class names telling you exactly what the element is about, supposedly, or what the content will be about. This is something that you see quite often, and you will still see it to this day, as even though the semantic elements are there and ready for use, it's not always in use. I'm going to see how we can change this. Let's dig in and see. Okay, so the new semantic elements are header for the header elements that you can get there. It normally includes your nav bar and search bars. Then you would have your main content section, which would contain the main article regarding or the main pieces of content on your page. Then you would have a sidebar or an aside, which would contain relevant information about the main pieces of content or the article. You would then also have your sidebar, which would contain relevant and or related information to the article on the page. Then you would have sections that you can use at the bottom with articles inside it, little snippets of articles, and then at the bottom you would have your footer. Now if you look at the code in its current state, everything is using divs. So let's get started. Let's change it one for one and let's see how it looks after we're done. So the first thing we're changing is the header tags. That's this div here, if it's selecting correctly. Let's change that to a header element. Perfect. Saving. Doesn't seem too bad. Everything still seems in place. Cool. Let's remove that class from the header. And let's have a look at the next element. The next element that we're changing is going to be the nav bar. And in HTML5, the semantic layout element is, you guessed it, nav. Cool. And we'll keep the unordered list as the container for the nav, and we can remove this. And as you'll see, even though we're changing the code and everything, it still displays correctly. And that's the beauty of it. Even though it's changing, it's still div. In essence, it still feels to me like a div tag or a div element. It's just more readable, that you would know that, okay, on this HTML page there's a header element, so the main header stuff must be in there. Okay, so the next element after the header, we have main, which is, you guessed it, the main element. So that's just before that. Okay, cool. So the next one we have is this blogs, which is the blogs section, which can contain more than one article. Not in this case though. In this case it's just going to contain one article, and then at the bottom there's going to be a related section with a couple of related articles inside that. Let's have a look at the first section, which this one is highlighted, so this would be section, and then this one would be section as well. That's awesome. Then this one, we can leave that section there because that kind of identifies the blogs section for this. So this one is a blogs article. Let's change this to what it should be, which is article, which is cool, and that's done as well. And that's it. If we save now and have a quick look, we can still see that there's no major change. Okay, so after we've done the article one, we can come down here to these little pieces of related articles. And since it's not strictly part of the main article, but it can be displayed with the article, let's change that to its own little section. And that's the other beauty of this, is that you can have, or div elements, you can have nested elements with regards to sections and articles. So let's keep that one there. We'll keep it home related, that's fine. And then the next one, let's start changing these ones. There we go. Now all the div elements are now articles, and now you can already see it reads much better. We're not done yet. The next element we're going to look at is the aside element. Now in the aside you would have your sidebar or your relevant content to the main article. So to change this, let's remove this. Let's keep the sidebar tag and just use aside. Now if you look at it, you can see that it's not really part of the main one, and you can see again it's still the same. The next one we're going to look at is address, and here you can see I never changed it, so you got me. Let's change that to address. Now the fun thing about address is that it formats the tag as well. And I'm just going to remove this piece right here by commenting it out. And you'll see there's no change. But if I quickly change this back to a div, and that one back to a div, with no styling, you'll see that it's not emphasized. And let's change it back to address. And that one. Address. There you have it. There you can see. Without even going into CSS, it is already sorted. Okay, so the next one is footer. So we can actually just remove the class as well, because we can use different tagging for that. That's fine. So we're going to change this to footer. And there you have it. So if we quickly go into the CSS of the footer, after we've changed it to footer, you'll see that it's not aligning the text center anymore. That's because we actually need to change the class as well. Now, the other stuff makes sense to keep the classes there, but in this case we can just actually target the element itself, and there we have it, nice and centered. And that's it. HTML5 semantic layout element. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. If you like this type of content and would like to see more of it, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.